Hey, my lovely Willow Vibes tribe members. I am Jessica from Willow Vines Intuitive Vibes, and I'm here to do a collective message. It's a little bit of a share, kind of, not really, and a dream. It's like a dream share, I guess. That's the main share. It's making me think of Cher. If I could turn back time, that song just popped in my head. So maybe somebody wishes they could go back in time and change a few things. But what's done is done. All we can do is learn from it and move forward, whether it's with someone specific within a situation or move away from it, because it is what it is. We all make mistakes, but we make mistakes for a reason, because if we decide to walk away from a situation or person, it's because it probably wasn't meant for us, or the timing was off, whatever it is. Believe in the impossible, blue moon. It's funny because I was really drawn to the Moonology deck, and this is the card that came out. And with what I'm talking about, it's just kind of ironic. There are no coincidences, is what I want to say. And nothing is set in stone. Nothing is yet set in stone. The answers you need are coming. So if any of you have some questions, or you're looking for clarity within a situation or surrounding a person or whatever, I feel like that's coming to you. Spirit could be delivering these messages, but I also feel it in your physical reality. So someone might be speaking up, or I don't know, information is coming out for some reason in some way for many people, not just for, the situations I've gone through, or for me or anyone tied to me. It's, I don't know, clarity. It's just illumination. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stick around. Hope you do stay. Would love it if you would. If you would like to join me over on my Facebook page, the link is in the description box below. I will add you as a friend. I'm not picking and choosing people. And if I don't add you right away, it's because I haven't gone on there to do it. I do have photos from my spiritual drives. Some of them, not all of them. I've got a bunch. I have quite a few uploaded right now, and I'm slowly going through and captioning them with dates and times, some locations, and a basic meaning of why I took the picture in the first place. But I've discussed all that during those time frames, during readings and stuff. So if any of you missed those readings, or you're curious as to why I saved photos like that, like you want more information, pay attention to the dates and go back to that time frame, and watch those videos, because I did talk about it a lot, because it just kept coming up and it was very important. So here's the things that I would say, and like in readings I'd come across it later on, or some people left me certain things. They were like quote unquote clues and crap, and some of it's just spiritual. Like I would just see it in my mind, and then I'd come across it. It was almost like spirit saying, you were going to be at this location, later on or whatever. So that was just premonition type stuff. It's varying. So if I don't label them, no one's going to really know what the hell it's all about. And that's why I'm doing like a little brief label on them. Like I said, I'm not done. So if you get added to my Facebook before I finish that, check back in if you're interested in looking at those photos. I don't have a whole hell of a lot on Facebook right now, but it's a process, and we can do it all together, because that's what I want. It's about bringing this community, the tribe, together, and we can interact with each other on there in a more personal way, I guess you could say, if you would like, basically. So that's kind of up in the air. We'll see what's going on, what happens with that, because I got rid of my personal Facebook, so that's the only one I have now. But yeah, I'll give you a little sneak peek into my life when I'm not on here sharing certain things, And I might do extras over there too, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, you know what I mean? So join me over there if you'd like. I'm also on Patreon. I have videos on there that aren't on YouTube, and I have more to come over there as well. It's been a slow go, because I'm prompted to put things over there and then I'm not. So it's almost like certain people that are over there need to see certain things, and that's why there's less. I don't know how to explain it. And it's like if the general public needs to hear certain messages what's the point of putting it over there if they're not over there? Do you know what I mean? So it's different messages. And in the vault stuff that I decided not to share, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to share this because the timing's right. I put that stuff on Patreon. But anyways, I just wanted to start over and tell everyone to like and comment and share again. But anyways, it's almost like, can we start over energy? Someone might want to start over, and you might think that that's an impossible feat. Like, I don't know if we can start over in this situation, or you never thought that whoever this person is to you would want a do-over, basically. That's just for some of you. So anyways, the dream. So yeah, oh wait, that's what's going on with the photos over there. They will have little explanations. It's just, it'll look like a bunch of nonsense without it. So just, like I said, it is what it is. I just wanted to point that out. But I'm going back over that stuff. And it's weird because of the dream that I had. I'm not like going back over it and looking for information or messages. I'm lining things up. And a few months ago, it might have been 6 months ago now, I can't remember, I have no sense of time. I was talking about a timeline, and that's what I'm doing right now. Because when it first came up, like it came to me through a channel message, I was like, yeah, I should timeline that. And like I was like, oh, I'll have to go back and look at the photos and see the dates and times of this and then write what it was about. And I'm like, I don't want to sit there and do that. So, but I'm doing it now. It's just online. It's in a different format than what originally came to me. And it was probably Spirit going, well, you're going to timeline things. And it will make sense when it's all in order. When it's all in order. Something's coming together within that situation, but just in general. And you might have never thought that it would come together. Like, this is just a mind F from hell, you know? That was, I'm just saying. And anyone involved in that situation, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. Because you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. And that has nothing to do with me. I know it has to do with my spirit team, because I did a meditation yesterday, getting in touch with your spirit team, basically, your spirit guides. And you want to know the first thing that popped in my head, which, because at first it was kind of nothing. It was clearing my mind and like, I don't want these random thoughts in here kind of thing. And I got into a relaxed state, and the first thing I saw was a sun disk with like little horn things, which I do believe is Isis. I have to double check, but this is exactly what I saw, and that is on top of her head. And Isis is Horus's mother. And I also heard a moon, Ra. A moon came before Ra, but those deities kind of came together, so it was a moon Ra, because he's the creator of everything, if you think about it. I'm not getting into Egyptian religions and gods and goddesses and stuff, but that's what came up. And Isis was very protective over not only Horus, her son, but over her people, over the people. She's like the bright mother, basically, one of them. And it's like, I took it as protection. I just heard not one to be messed with or effed with. I would definitely say that with these deities, don't mess with them. But yeah, there's a lot of protection energy going on there, and I wanted to say that because I've been drawn to ancient Egyptian cultures and things like that for quite a while now, and couldn't really understand why. And I knew things about ancient Egypt and hieroglyphics. I was drawing them, which I have some on here too. We have a water snake, so a serpent, and it's a male, it's a masculine energy. But I've been drawing this stuff forever. I have it in my old books, which I put away. But this little, don't mind all this, it don't make no sense when it's all together, but it makes sense when you when you take it apart, you know? But anyways, this little image, it's like little squiggles, basically. Before all the spiritual drive crap and the scary energy and all that happened, I was drawing that left and right, and I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm just like, why am I doing this? And I had been drawing hieroglyphs, and then when I finally looked it up, I was like, oh, that's what that means. Water, a river. A lot of things happen by water for me, for one. But the snake, the serpent, that's what that squiggle thing is about. It's the yin yang, basically, because there's the twin snakes, which I used to talk about because of the gummies, but that's literally in ancient Egypt, whatever, because that's before the beginning of time, because I think it's in the waters of noon. I believe this is what it is. In the waters of noon, the ancient Egyptians believed that that's where all life and matter was. Basically, that's where it stemmed from. Like, that's where creation came from. And there were two snakes. One is of the light and one is of the dark. So one's in the underworld, and I do believe, I can't remember who it was. There was one god, it might have been Horus or Ra. It was Ra. The sun god, at whenever the sun would set, he'd go to the underworld and he had to battle the snake, the serpent of chaos, basically, because with the yin yang representing the snakes, or the snakes representing that, like the light and the dark is chaos and the light is balance, basically. So like love and light and all that stuff, and you can't have one without the other, because everything will just get consumed. So if you have too much of a good thing, it can turn bad. And of course, you don't want chaos to rule the world, because then it will just be a big clusterfuck and problems, But that's what that symbolizes. That's how they drew the snakes, the serpents of the underworld and whatever. I was like, I just learned that the other day. But I've been drawing that for a couple years now. So has something to do with balance, bringing in balance. So it's almost like, because I kept talking about, like, not just Horus, but Ra. And Ra, he's not really the god of vengeance, but he has that in there. It's almost like reprimanding those who are up to no good, basically. Because it has something to do with war and battles. I mean, there's so much to it. So I'm not diving into details, because that's not exactly what this reading is about, or this video is about. But the eye of Ra and the eye of Horus, because it's the sun and the moon. But what was I going to say about vengeance? I kept talking about Ra during all this energy, and how people will pay for their sins. Basically, they'll pay for messing with someone, for hurting another person, people, whatever. Regardless of me, that's in here. And yeah, I feel like I just heard the illumination is what's going to get you. Not me or anything like that, but the truth coming out is what's going to bite someone in the ass. That's what that is. That's why Ra's coming up, because of the sun illumination. But I just got sidetracked as shit, just like thinking of that, talking about it, but whatever. So it's significant, whatever it means to you. Do your own research, especially if you're drawn to do so, on different deities, and don't invoke anyone or anything unless you have a full understanding. I didn't invoke any of these gods and goddesses. They came to me, and I didn't even understand what it meant, who it was, until the time was right, basically. Because I've always been drawn to the pyramids and triangles and stuff like that, and that's what that pertains to. But it's all symbolism. Spirits speak to us. They speak to us through signs, synchronicities, and symbols a lot of the times, because spirit is definitely around, protecting you, me, and whoever needs it, basically. Especially if this is your lineage, you know what I mean? But yeah, be careful with invoking. If they're meant to come and protect you and be around you, they'll do it on their own. So anyways, regardless of that stuff, the dream I had ties into all of this in a weird way. I don't know, it was so different. But anyways, it surrounded my father, and in the beginning, I was sitting at a round table with him and his girlfriend, and it was in her old house, like when they first met years ago. It was in that house, but she had a different table, a different setup. I just knew it was a house. I don't know how to explain it, but that's where it took place originally. And And this is all a dream. And when I was in, like, I was sitting there with him and her. It was just that, the three of us. And they had brand new cell phones. So new technology, you know, they were updated, whatever, because they had like the smartphones and stuff. Well, I needed a phone or something, so they gave me one, but they gave me an old phone. And it wasn't a flip phone or anything, but it wasn't updated. And it's like giving me outdated information, outdated, something that's outdated, but whatever that is. And on the phone, I couldn't figure out how to use the damn thing, because I'm like, there was a bunch of buttons on it, and it didn't look like a normal old phone with buttons. Like, I don't know what kind of phone it was. It was a magical phone. But anyways, all I could access on the phone was a game. And it was a game of like, you gotta find things like Where's Waldo? And as I'm going through it, trying to figure it out, pushing buttons, every time I would find something, or I don't know, it was weird because I can't remember if it's every time I'd find something or if I would see it with my eyes, it would light up, and then I was like, oh, there it is. But it was like a light would show, like, oh, over here. Oh, over here. Like, spiritual guidance is what it made me think of, like a light, whoo, flash right here, come over here, that type of stuff. And I'm like, so it's just a find shit kind of game, like go looking around to find crap. And I'm like, I don't really want to play this game. It wasn't a bad game. Like, I don't know, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, but I don't really want to play it. That's what I said in the dream. And my father took the phone and was going to show me how to play the game. And he did. He was like kind of going like this, like with the phone, like, all right, well, you push this button and it'll show you right here. This will light up, and then you go over here and you'll find what you're looking for. And I'm like, oh, all right, that sounds good, kind of thing. So he was explaining the game to me. And I took the phone, and I wasn't even in the game anymore. I just took the phone. I was like, okay, you know, I'll play it whenever. And, or, because that's all the phone did. I couldn't do anything else except for play this stupid game on a phone. And then all of a sudden, we were gonna go to a restaurant. Yes, we were gonna go to a restaurant. We were gonna all sit there, like it was like a family dinner or something. But it was weird because it was still just me, him, and his girlfriend. There was nobody else there, but it was a family dinner. And I was like, all right, I'll take his girlfriend's old car, which I think she used to have like a Ford Explorer, but even if she didn't, I don't remember what it was called, but the literal car, the literal vehicle that she used to drive when she met my father was the car that I drove to the restaurant, because I had my own car, but I was like, I'll take her car there. For some reason, I couldn't take my car to the restaurant because maybe, you know, so-and-so can't see it, or so somebody could have changed vehicles, or you know what I mean? That could be what it's representing. But I was like, I'll drive his girlfriend's car over there. So that's what I did. And I show up at the restaurant, and there was plates of food and stuff, but I don't remember what we were eating. And because it wasn't significant, and I didn't even eat my food. And so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden the buttons on the phone changed. There was more buttons, and I was like, what the hell? So I'm looking at it, and I was like, I really can't figure this out. And I'm just sitting there like, everything's changing. It's like it started one way and then it's changing around, but the game changed. Originally it was like Where's Waldo, finding things, and it was fun, but it was kind of like, okay. And then the game changed to an abusive game, and I'm not going to get into the details of what the dream showed me, but I was like, because I don't think that's significant. It was just basically a symbol for abuse, like abuse of power, taking advantage of a person in a vulnerable place, because there was a child involved in the game. And I was like, this game sucks. I was like, I don't understand it. It's cruel, it's mean, it's abusive. And I handed it back to my father, and I was like, I don't want to play this game. This game sucks. And And then, yeah, because I didn't take the phone back after that. I was like, you could play the game all by yourself. Like I was so done with it because I realized that the game wasn't innocent anymore. It was something bad, and I was like, I didn't want this. So I gave it back to him, and when I stood up to walk away from the table, we weren't in the restaurant anymore. We were at his house, sitting around his table. Like, it just totally changed, like where they live now. And I was like, okay, well, we just teleported somewhere, just saying. But anyways, I got up from the table, and I was irritated, and I left the room. I didn't leave the house. I went into a bedroom. I didn't go anywhere else, and I've never seen this bedroom before. It's not like one that's really in his house, but a bedroom is like um, your private place. You know what I mean? And all I was doing was sitting in there thinking. I wasn't on my phone or anything. I was just like trying to figure things out. I was all confused, like, what the hell? Like, thinking about stuff. And as I'm sitting there thinking, I'm having visions. Like, I could see what was going on, with them and with other people. Like, I saw his girlfriend's grandkids, because I think she's got 3 of them or something. She got more than that, but it was with one of her kids basically. And I do believe they had 2 boys first, but I knew they were her grandkids, like in the vision or whatever, but they're way older in real life. Like, not, they're still children, but they're not like 2-3 years old anymore. And in the, like, what I was seeing when I was in the bedroom, they were little, and my daughter was out there. I don't know, they were, I think my dad and his girlfriend were babysitting them, and my daughter was helping or something in the dream. And that would have never happened in real life, I'm just saying. But because my daughter, I don't think she's even met them. But anyways, so because I just remember seeing her playing with the older kid who was like 3 years old or whatever. Like, they were playing blocks or some crap. I don't know what the hell they were doing. It was just, kids stuff. And then I ended up in my garage, like in my own garage where I am, and I'm just sitting there thinking, because I went from the bed. Oh no! Before I left the bedroom, my daughter said to me, "I think it's time to go," and I was like, "Yeah, I think so too," because I was just by myself anyway. So I'm like, "Yeah, I think it is time to go." So I ended up in the garage, and as I'm sitting in the garage, I see those kids that I was talking about, like their grandkid's mother. And it was her in the dream, like clear as friggin' day. I'm not naming names or anything, but she pulls in, and I could see her in the window, and she gave me the dirtiest look. Like, if looks could kill, she would have killed me in the dream. Like, she was just like pissed off, and I was just like, what the fuck's your problem? And my daughter saw it, and she goes, all right, I'm gonna bring the kid inside so that their mom could take him home and whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not going in there. Like, fuck that, basically, because I didn't know what her problem was, but I didn't want to deal with it. It's just like, you gotta stick up your ass. You can stay over there, basically. That was just in the dream. So I'm like, all right, I'll go get my dad's girlfriend's vehicle, the one that I drove to the restaurant, and park it, and then get back in my vehicle. So the first time I got in the vehicle, it drove fine. Like, right to the restaurant, no problems. And then this time, when I went to park it, it's almost like I couldn't control it. It was going, I'm like, what the hell? It won't go straight. I wanted to go straight, but it was like turning wonky, and I was fighting it. I'm like, no, you're going this way. And I'm like, so it's like the car was wanting me to go one way, and I'm going, no, I'm going another way. So I started fighting against it, which I literally did on my spiritual drives. If I felt the urge to, like, if I heard in my head or felt like I should go down a specific road or to a certain area, I'd be like, nope, I'm going over here instead. That's what I literally would do. Because before, I would just listen, and I'd end up at these places and find all this wonky crap. And I'm like, and it was fun at first, and then it fucking sucked. And I was like, but anyways, so the car was like fighting me, and I couldn't stop. Like, every time I tried to hit the brakes, it would just keep going a little further, and I'm like, cut it out. I finally got the car to stop, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this fucking piece of shit, this outdated crap. So I grabbed my purse, And then I'm like, oh, I have two purses with me. So I grab both of them. And they're two purses that I actually use, that I have. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go to my car, put them in here, and leave. I'm not even going to go inside and say goodbye. I'm just going to get the hell out of here. And I open up the passenger side door of my car and put my purses in there. And as I set my purses down, all of a sudden I had a duffel bag, like a suitcase with my clothes in it, and I set it on the floor. And that literally happened. I was carrying around a suitcase at that time, and I literally brought it to my father's house, like in real life, not just in the dream. But I never carried it from the car to the... It was just weird. It was almost like, all right, time to go. And then all of a sudden I had the bag and I put it in the car. And my father came outside, and I could tell he was irritated. But I didn't know why. Like in the dream, I didn't know why or anything. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I don't want to cause problems, basically. So as the doors open, he's standing there with a car charger. Like a phone charger, but for your car. But it looked weird, and it hadn't been opened. And it had a bunch of buttons on it. Like arrows up, down, like almost like controlling something. It looked like a controller. Like a charger was a phone or charger, something to do with a car was controlling something, or someone was controlling something. That's what it was showing me in the dream. And it had to do with a vehicle and a charger and a phone. And it's sitting there, and I'm like, that's a funky charger. And he just set it on top of my stuff. And there was something else there too, but I don't remember what it was in the dream. Because there were three things. One, I don't know. The other was the remote control fucking charger weird thing. And then there was a credit card. At first I thought it was a Visa gift card, but it's a Visa credit card. And it was blue and white. It almost looked like clouds, like when you take a picture of the blue sky with some clouds, like kind of what's up above, but it looked more realistic, I guess. And he didn't put the money, the gift card or credit card in my car. He was gonna give it to me, like a gift. He was gonna give it to me. And I said, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. And then I left, and I woke up. But what's really weird is what really set all this crap in motion, like with my spiritual drives and being led around and whatever. Believe in the impossible, I'm just saying. Was my phone charger. Was that night. I mean, shit was happening to me before I went to go retrieve the charger, but I think that was kind of what sealed the deal. I don't really know, because I was at the galley. I was at a restaurant, which is weird because everything that happened to me, not everything, but a lot of things that happened to me tied into this fucking dream. And like I said, it's a symbolism, but the people, I don't know, there were specific people that I saw. But anyways, so that night I was at the galley, and I was led there by Morse code in my windowsill, which I think I still have a picture of that. I never took it out of the windowsill, but I scratched "fuck you" in my window because I was so pissed off at the situation that I was just like, I hope you read this. Like, basically, I need to page over it. But anyways, we get frustrated every now and again. It happens. So I was at the galley, and I heard in my head, stay until closing, which is 9 o'clock. 9 is the time. And it was Monday, Wednesday, Thursday trivia. So it was trivia night, the night I went, because I think I went on a Wednesday. And actually, when I was prompted to go outside and have a cigarette, that's when I saw that oil tanker that was the brown bear. When the bear growls, the wolf howls. But anyways, I saw that, and the gas lights lit up, which is the same gas station where I found $5 not too long ago, and I was like, boo you bitches. But anyways, that night, I was prompted to stay there, and I think I had a chicken Caesar salad and a whiskey. Might have had a couple, but because, fuck it. But I was bored. I was sitting there by myself, and I was led there under false pretenses as well. But anyways, so I get led there by Morse code and just feeling like I should be there, and I didn't have a bad feeling there. I really didn't, but I was like, what the hell's going on? Because scary energy had already happened, and I had been tricked at this point, which is where the charger thing comes in. And I forgot my charger a different time, which I've already explained, at these people's house, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm not like, I'll get a new one or something. Like, I just was like, no. Well, I'm sitting in the parking lot after closing at the galley, and I see a flash, like in the game. Every time I'd see something, it'd flash, it'd light up in the dream. Well, in real life, a flashlight SOS'd me in the fucking tree line. And that's how I ended up over at the Legion. And then the outside, like, someone was in there, which is weird too, because that mom person, I don't know her real name, that was at the creepy place with a fucking asshole dude, where I left my charger, she works at the Legion. She told me that. She says she's a fucking bartender there, which is why I didn't want to go there even for my grandfather's celebration of life and stuff, because I was like, I don't want to see any of those motherfuckers. And I'm not saying the general public would have been there, but what if she was working? Like, I didn't want to look. Maybe I should have. And I wasn't scared of her, but I'm just like, what the fuck are the odds of this, you know? Because she had told me that they're all addicts, and I don't know if that's drug addicts or just alcoholics, because she admitted that to me, because I told her I'm a recovering addict, like I've been in recovery, and she told me that they all are addicts, and I was like, oh, this is nice. But anyways, I forgot my charger there, and that's what I heard. Like, basically the lights were answering me. Someone could hear me, and I was picking up on it telepathically, and the lights were answering me legitimately, because at first I'm going, is this in my head? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the place is closed, I don't want to go over there. Well, it answered me to the point where I'm like, all right, this is not a coincidence. You know, this light isn't just flashing just randomly. It's literally it's answering me. So I did what it said, and then it told me to get my charger, and I was like, I don't want to. Well, I did. I ended up going there. And after that night, like, I don't remember when, it could have been a few days later, a week later, something, I heard home is where the heart is, follow your heart. And I went to my father's house just to visit, because we hadn't talked in forever. And I was like, I don't know, it was totally random, on a whim. I'm like, fuck it, what's the worst that's gonna happen? He's gonna either not want to see me, or he's gonna welcome me in. You know, like, one or the other. I'm okay with either one. And he did welcome me in. And that night, when I spent the night, I had the fucking duffel bag and shit, the same one that was in my dream. I had that with me, because I just didn't want to be at the house. I was terrified with all this energy. It scared the ever-living fucking shit out of me. And yeah, it did make me look a little El Nutso, but I feel like people did that on purpose. I really do. I feel like that might have been the reason, like, oh, if she really knows this stuff, if she can really do that, she'll out our fucking bullshit, because people are